Beyond 300 meters, sunlight vanishes and life begins to rewrite the rules of existence. In these depths, pressure climbs to 40 times what a person on land survives, and fish use chemical light, bioluminescence, as both camouflage and a weapon. Each layer below transforms familiar species into monsters more alien and more terrifying than any fiction, driven by science stranger than myth. What forces sculpt this real-life abyss, and how far will evolution go in the darkness? At 300 meters below the surface, the ocean begins to erase everything familiar. The last hints of daylight filter down as a pale, ghostly blue. Every color but blue is stripped away. Reds, oranges, and yellows vanish first, absorbed by the water above. Even blue itself grows faint until the world is painted in a single cold hue. Here, the rules of physics start to take over. Pressure builds relentlessly, rising to 30, then 40 times the weight of the air at sea level. Every 10 meters adds another atmosphere, squeezing water, rock, and flesh alike. For any living thing, this is a world of crushing force. The twilight zone stretches from 300 to 400 meters. It is not quite darkness, but it is no longer day. Shadows drift in the blue haze, and the surface world's boundaries dissolve. Human lungs would collapse here. Steel tanks groan. Even the toughest submersibles need careful engineering just to survive the squeeze. The loss of light changes everything. Eyes that once relied on sunlight become useless. Colors fade, and shapes blur. For most animals, vision is reduced to a dim outline at best. The ocean at these depths is a world without reference points, where up and down are decided only by instinct and the faint pressure of gravity. But even as sunlight disappears, life refuses to vanish. The creatures that inhabit the twilight zone adapt in ways that seem almost impossible. Some develop eyes that are enormous compared to their bodies, trying to catch the last scraps of light. Others abandon vision entirely, relying on touch, vibration, or chemical cues to sense the world. Pressure is the silent architect here. At 30 to 40 atmospheres, water presses in from every direction. Human bones would snap, and air-filled spaces would be crushed flat. Fish that once swam near the surface must now contend with bodies that risk imploding if they are not perfectly balanced. Gas bladders shrink or disappear. Skeletons soften. Flesh becomes more gelatinous, less structured, able to flex and yield without breaking. In the twilight, the need for new survival strategies grows urgent. With sunlight nearly gone, the only way to see or be seen is to make your own light. Chemical reactions in living tissue begin to replace the sun, setting the stage for a world where organisms shape their own visibility. This is where bioluminescence is born, not as a trick or a spectacle, but as a necessity. The ocean's blue fades to black, and the deep's true inhabitants prepare to reveal themselves, not with borrowed sunlight, but with their own living glow. In the deepening blue, something remarkable begins to happen. The darkness is not absolute. Tiny sparks flare and fade, scattered across the water like distant stars. This is not sunlight, this is life, making its own light from scratch. Bioluminescence is the ocean's answer to vanishing day. At its core is a chemical reaction. A molecule called luciferin meets an enzyme called luciferase, and the result is light. Most often in the blue-green spectrum, between 470 to 490 nanometers. This wavelength travels farther in seawater than any other color, reaching eyes that have never known true daylight. For lanternfish, this living glow is a matter of survival. Their bodies are lined with photophores, tiny organs that pulse with blue-green light. But these lights are not random. Each species has its own unique pattern, like a secret code. Some use them to signal mates, others to warn off rivals. But the most ingenious trick is counter-illumination. Lanternfish and hatchetfish can match the faint light still filtering from above, erasing their own shadows and making themselves nearly invisible to anything lurking below. It is camouflage in reverse, a defense built not from hiding in darkness, but from blending into the last traces of light. Hatchetfish take this strategy to the extreme. Their bodies are flattened and silvered, reflecting what little light remains, while rows of photophores on their bellies glow just enough to match the sky. Seen from underneath, a hatchetfish almost disappears, a living ghost against the blue. This optical illusion is so precise that even sensitive predators struggle to pick them out. But bioluminescence is not just for hiding. In a world where vision is rare, light becomes a weapon. Some fish use flashes to startle attackers or lure prey closer. Others coordinate in groups, sending signals that only their own kind can read. The ocean's darkness becomes a stage for silent communication, each pulse and flicker carrying meaning. Every adaptation here is driven by necessity. Without light, there is no warning, no way to see or be seen, unless you make your own. The chemistry of luciferin and luciferase, honed over millions of years, has given rise to an entire ecosystem of glowing life. It is a silent arms race, a dance of signals and counter-signals played out in the shadows. Scientists studying these creatures have learned to measure the faintest glows, mapping out the patterns and purposes behind each spark. They have found that bioluminescence is not rare, but everywhere. Over 3/4 of the animals in the twilight zone can produce light in some form. It is the rule, not the exception. As the journey continues, the importance of this living light only grows. The deeper the descent, the more vital bioluminescence becomes, not just for survival, but for the very possibility of life in a world where the sun can never reach. In the world beneath the last blue light, seeing without disturbing became the greatest challenge. For decades, scientists relied on trawls and bright submersible lamps, but these methods scattered the very creatures they hoped to study. The ocean's true inhabitants, squid, dragonfish, and countless others, remained elusive, vanishing before they could ever be recorded behaving naturally. Everything began to change in the early 2000s, when a marine biologist named Edith Widder set out to capture the deep's secrets on its own terms. Frustrated by the failure of traditional gear, Widder invented the Eye in the Sea camera, a device designed to watch without being seen. Unlike earlier cameras, hers used red light, invisible to most deep-sea animals, and mimicked the glow of a distressed jellyfish to lure in curious predators. In 2004, on a research cruise off the Bahamas, the Eye in the Sea quietly recorded the first natural images of a giant squid in its native darkness. The footage proved what many suspected. Most deep-sea animals are repelled by artificial light, and only the gentlest observation could reveal their world. This breakthrough did not come easily. Widder spent years fighting for funding, convincing skeptical colleagues, and braving the logistical nightmare of lowering delicate electronics thousands of meters beneath the waves. But her persistence paid off. The Eye in the Sea became a model for a new generation of non-intrusive deep ocean cameras, now used by research teams around the globe. As technology advanced, so did ambition. In 2012, filmmaker and explorer James Cameron piloted the Deep Sea Challenger, a custom-built submersible, to the bottom of the Mariana Trench, nearly 11,000 meters down. Cameron's solo descent was a feat of engineering and nerve. The sub's hull, made from special foam and titanium, withstood pressures that would crush nearly any other vessel. He faced battery failures and last-minute leaks, but pressed on, determined to bring back images from the planet's deepest point. His cameras captured not just the alien landscape, but also the strange, soft-bodied life that survives where sunlight has never touched. This mission was bold. Meanwhile, institutions like MBARI and NOAA pushed the boundaries of remote observation. MBARI, remotely operated vehicles equipped with ultra-sensitive, low-light cameras, have logged over 27,000 hours of deep-sea footage since 2004. Their teams learned to operate in near silence, using red shielded lights and passive hovering to avoid scaring off rare creatures. In 2021, a last-minute adjustment to a ROV control system allowed scientists to record the elusive bigfin squid at close range, a species seen fewer than 20 times since 1988. NOAA's Okeanos Explorer and OceanX's missions from 2023 to 2025 have catalogued more than 100 new invertebrates, using gentle suction devices and advanced imaging to minimize disturbance. The result is a growing archive of life revealed as it truly is, unharmed, unhurried, and often stranger than any surface imagination could conjure. These technological leaps have given researchers a way to witness the deep without breaking its fragile balance. With every new image, the ocean's darkness becomes less impenetrable, and the rules that shape its creatures grow clearer. What once seemed invisible is now within reach, but only for those willing to watch with patience and respect. Pressure in the deep sea is relentless and absolute. Every 10 meters adds another atmosphere. So by the time a fish reaches 1,000 meters, it faces a force 100 times greater than at the surface. For any living cell, this is not just a physical burden, it is a molecular siege. Proteins, the tiny machines that keep life running, begin to buckle and unfold. Chemical bonds stretch and strain, threatening the structure of muscle, nerves, and even the membranes that hold cells together. But deep-sea creatures have a secret weapon, a molecule called trimethylamine N-oxide, known as TMAO. TMAO acts as a kind of molecular brace. It surrounds and stabilizes proteins, letting them keep their shape even as the water around them is squeezed to the density of syrup. The deeper a creature lives, the more TE needs. Measurements show a clear pattern. Shallow fish have just 20 to 50 millimoles of TMAO per kilogram of tissue. At 1,400 meters, that number rises to around 90. By 4,900 meters, it can reach 261. In the world's deepest snailfish, pulled from the Kermadec Trench at 7,000 meters, TMAO levels soar to nearly 400 millimoles per kilogram, the highest ever recorded in a vertebrate. But this adaptation comes with a cost. As TMAO builds up, it changes the chemistry inside the animal. Internal fluids become more and more like seawater until, at about 8,200 meters, they match it almost exactly. Beyond this point, the rules of osmosis threaten to break down. Cells can swell, water balance fails, and vertebrate life hits a hard limit. This is why no fish have ever been found deeper than this threshold. The ocean's pressure sets a boundary, enforced at the tiniest scale. The presence of TMAO does not just explain how these animals survive, it shapes what they become. Bones grow soft and flexible, or disappear altogether. Gas bladders, common in surface fish, are abandoned because they would collapse under the weight. Bodies turn gelatinous, able to flex and twist without snapping. Even muscle tissue changes, balancing the need for movement with the need to resist crushing force. This is why so many deep-sea creatures look strange or even monstrous to surface eyes. Their forms are written by chemistry, not by choice. Scientists call molecules like TMAO piezolites, pressure-protective compounds that are as essential as oxygen or water in the deep. The further a species descends, the more it must invest in these invisible defenses. And with every meter, the trade-offs become more severe. Energy that might have gone to building strong muscles or fast reflexes is instead spent on chemical stability. The result is a world where survival means compromise at every level, from the shape of a jaw to the folding of a single protein. In this realm, pressure is the ultimate sculptor, carving out life forms that could exist nowhere else on Earth. At depths from 800 to 1,200 meters, the ocean turns from a place of scarcity to a true battleground. Sunlight is gone. Darkness is total. Pressure can crush anything unprepared, and the only law is hunger. Among the shadows, three predators reign: each one shaped by the relentless need to hunt in a world where meals are rare and every mistake can mean starvation. The fangtooth is the first to appear. Its head is armored, and its mouth is a cage of teeth so large it cannot close its jaws completely. Each tooth is longer than the creature's own brain. The fangtooth's eyes are small, nearly useless in this blackness. Its lateral line system is tuned to the faintest vibrations. It senses the tremor of a passing fish, then lunges with a speed that seems impossible for its size. There is no finesse, just a sudden, brutal attack. The fangtooth's teeth interlock, impaling prey before it can react. In a place where food might only come once a month, nothing can be left to chance. The viperfish is even stranger. Its lower jaw hangs open, hinged like a trap, armed with fangs so long they curve up past its eyes. The viperfish drifts motionless, its body lined with bioluminescent spots. These lights flicker in sequences, mimicking the patterns of small, harmless fish. When a curious animal draws near, the viperfish snaps its jaw shut in a fraction of a second, swallowing prey almost its own size. Some viperfish follow the vertical migrations of their prey, rising hundreds of meters at night and plunging back down by day, always searching, always ready to strike. Then comes the gulper eel, a creature built for famine. Its head is small, but its jaws and stomach can balloon outward to swallow prey half its length. The gulper eel's body is mostly empty space, a sack that can stretch to hold whatever it catches. When food is this scarce, missing a meal is not an option. The gulper eel can go weeks without eating, then gorge itself in a single desperate feast. Its tail glows with a bioluminescent lure, drawing in victims from the dark. These predators do not just survive. They dominate, each one a master of ambush and deception. Their forms are not accidents, but the inevitable outcome of life under pressure, darkness, and hunger. In the Midnight Zone, terror is not a myth. It is written into every jaw, every tooth, every desperate hunt. Among the wreckage of ancient whale bones and volcanic silt, the deep sea gives rise to giants. Not monsters of legend, but real, living outliers, creatures whose size defies everything we expect from life in the cold and dark. The most famous of these is the giant isopod. Related to the pill bugs found in gardens, it can grow half a meter long, big enough to cradle in both arms. Its armored shell is built for patience, not speed. Down here, food is so scarce that survival depends on the slowest metabolism possible. A giant isopod may go months, even years between meals, conserving energy in the freezing water where every calorie is precious. When a whale carcass lands on the seafloor, dozens of isopods gather, tearing into flesh with jaws evolved for endurance rather than force. Their size is not a luxury, but a strategy, a way to store fat, outlast famine, and dominate sudden feasts that may come only once in a lifetime. Sea spiders, too, take the deep's invitation to grow. Some stretch their legs wider than a dinner plate, their bodies reduced to little more than a central hub. In the abyss, oxygen dissolves more easily in cold water, and the slow pace of life means these creatures can get bigger without running out of breath. Legs become long and spindly, perfect for gliding over soft mud and reaching distant prey. These giants are slow, but their size makes them hard to ignore. They are the silent engineers of the benthic world, cleaning up detritus and playing their part in the deep's recycling system. Not every species grows large in the deep. Gigantism here is selective, shaped by the cold, the darkness, and the rare windfalls of food. For crustaceans, the combination of low temperatures and long lives gives them time to grow, while the absence of fast predators lets them reach sizes impossible in shallower waters. The result is a patchwork of extremes, with some animals staying small and nimble, and others becoming colossi, each adapted to a world where the rules of survival have no surface equivalent. These giants are not terrors, but wonders. Proof that the deep sea is not just a place of fear, but also of awe where life finds new ways to endure the impossible. In 2020, scientists discovered that some of the ocean's most elusive fish are not just dark, they are nearly invisible. Their skin absorbs 99.95% of all light, making them the closest thing to a living shadow ever found on Earth. This adaptation is not about color. It is about vanishing completely in a world where even a single stray photon could mean death. The secret lies in the microscopic structure of their skin. Instead of relying only on pigment, these fish pack their outermost layer with dense, elongated melanosomes, tiny capsules filled with black melanin. Under an electron microscope, the arrangement looks like a tightly woven mat, each capsule precisely shaped and stacked to trap light from every angle. When photons hit this surface, they are bounced, scattered, and absorbed, unable to escape. The result is a body that reflects less than 0.1% of visible light, even when illuminated by the harsh beams of a submersible's lamp or the flash of a bioluminescent predator. Species like the fangtooth and certain anglerfish wear this cloak of darkness as their primary defense. In the deep, where flashes of bioluminescence reveal both hunter and hunted, being seen is as dangerous as being slow. Ultra-black skin turns these fish into optical ghosts. They can drift through the water column, hunt or hide without casting a silhouette. Even after a meal, their bellies remain dark, masking the glow of swallowed prey and preventing detection by sharp-eyed predators. This level of stealth is so effective that it outperforms the best human-made materials. Engineers studying these fish have found that their skin outperforms many synthetic ultra-black coatings, inspiring new designs for military camouflage and optical devices. Yet, in the deep sea, this adaptation is not a luxury. It is a necessity, honed by millions of years of predation and survival in the most unforgiving darkness on the planet. Ultra-blackness is not rare. At least 16 unrelated species have evolved this same trick, each arriving at the same solution through separate evolutionary paths. In the deep, where light is both weapon and warning, the ability to disappear is the ultimate advantage. Every encounter with these masters of shadow is a reminder that the ocean's greatest mysteries are not always what can be seen, but what remains hidden just beyond the reach of light. In the blackness beyond 1,000 meters, the ocean keeps its strangest secrets well hidden. Among the rarest is a creature so elusive that even the world's most advanced underwater robots have caught it on camera fewer than 20 times since 1988. The bigfin squid, called magna pinna, drifts through the abyss like a living question mark. Its arms and tentacles trail behind, thin as ribbons and held at sharp right angles, stretching up to 7 meters from end to end. No other cephalopod moves quite like this. No other animal, really. Scientists at MBARI describe each sighting as a kind of cosmic accident. Months of careful planning and patience, hours of silent hovering with red-shielded lights, and still most expeditions return with nothing but empty footage. When a bigfin does appear, it is as if the deep itself is allowing a brief glimpse behind the curtain. In 2004, the remotely operated vehicle from MBARI captured the first clear images off the coast of California. The event sent a ripple of excitement through the marine biology world. Here was proof of an animal so rare, many doubted it existed at all. Then, in 2021, a last-minute adjustment to the vehicle controls let the team record another encounter, this time closer and longer than ever before. The squid hovered in the frame, its arms dangling like threads, unhurried and unafraid, before fading back into darkness. Every detail is a mystery. No one has seen a bigfin squid hunt, eat, or mate. Some theorize those long arms act as drifting snares, trapping whatever small creatures float by. Others suspect a scavenger gliding through the silt in search of leftovers. What is certain is that these animals are not just rare, they are nearly invisible, living proof that the deep sea still holds puzzles no one has solved. For the scientists at MBARI, each fleeting encounter is a reminder. In the abyss, scarcity is not just about food or light. It is about the very possibility of being seen at all. At 4,000 meters, the ocean floor stretches out into a vast, silent plain. Here, the abyssal zone begins, a world of perpetual night where the cold is constant and the pressure is unyielding. Life persists, but only by slowing down to a crawl. Metabolism in these depths runs up to 10 times slower than in the shallows. Every heartbeat, every movement is measured and rare. Energy is precious, and survival means making do with almost nothing. Most days, the seafloor is as barren as a desert. Only the occasional drift of marine snow, tiny flakes of dead plankton, and organic debris offers a meager meal. Creatures like giant amphipods, some reaching nearly 30 centimeters long, patrol the mud in search of scraps. Their size is not a luxury, but a strategy for storing energy and outlasting the long stretches between feasts. Slow metabolisms let them endure months, sometimes years, without eating. Then, without warning, abundance falls from above. When a whale dies and sinks, its body becomes a sudden oasis in the wasteland. A single carcass can feed an entire community for decades. Giant amphipods and crabs arrive first, tearing into flesh in a frenzy that breaks the slow-motion rhythm of the abyss. Bacteria and worms follow, digesting bone and fat until only a skeleton remains. These rare windfalls are the heartbeat of the abyssal plains, brief bursts of life in a world ruled by scarcity. Between these events, everything returns to stillness. Life waits, conserving every calorie, shaped by a world where time itself seems to stretch and slow. In the deep sea, where pressure and cold rewrite the rules of survival, the dumbo octopus stands out as a master of molecular innovation. Unlike most animals, it does not rely solely on slow genetic change to adapt. Instead, it uses a process called RNA editing, a kind of genetic alchemy that lets it rewrite its own cellular instructions in real time. Scientists studying Grimpoteuthis, the dumbo octopus, discovered that more than half of its protein-coding genes show signs of this editing. That is a level of flexibility rare even among cephalopods, a group already famous for their intelligence and adaptability. The process works like this. After DNA is transcribed into RNA, the dumbo octopus can swap out specific building blocks, adenosine for inosine, changing the way proteins are built without altering the underlying DNA. This RNA editing is especially active in the animal's brain and muscles, the tissues most exposed to the crushing pressure and freezing temperatures of the abyss. By tweaking neural ion channels and stress response proteins on the fly, the dumbo octopus can fine-tune its nervous system and metabolism to match changing conditions of the deep. These adjustments happen quickly, giving the animal flexibility that would take many generations to evolve by DNA mutation alone. Transcriptomic studies from the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute and other research teams show that editing rates in deep-sea dumbo octopuses are even higher than in their shallow water cousins. This means they are not locked into a single genetic solution. Instead, they can rapidly adapt to sudden shifts in pressure or temperature, an ability that may be essential for life on the edge of what is possible. In a world where every adaptation is tested by scarcity and extremes, the dumbo octopus survives by rewriting its own code, one molecule at a time. At the bottom of the Kermadec Trench, a small team led by Mackenzie Geringer set a new record for vertebrate life. Their traps, lowered to 8,178 meters, brought up a pale, nearly translucent snailfish, soft-bodied, with bones so flexible they seem to bend under their own weight. This fish is the deepest ever found, living in a world where pressure equals the weight of dozens of jumbo jets stacked overhead. Its survival depends on a delicate balance. Inside its tissues, trimethylamine N-oxide, called TMAO, accumulates to levels unmatched by any other vertebrate. This molecule braces the snailfish's proteins against collapse, but there is a limit. At around 8,200 meters, the chemistry inside these animals matches the saltiness of the sea. Beyond that, cells lose their ability to hold water, and vertebrate life simply cannot persist. The snailfish marks the biological edge of what is possible. Yet even here, the deep refuses to give up its secrets. In early 2025, hydrophones anchored near the trench picked up a persistent low-frequency hum, 18 to 23 hertz, pulsing for minutes at a time. Analysts from Jamstack and Ocean Networks Canada ruled out earthquakes, ships, and known whales. The source remains unidentified. Some suspect a new kind of animal, one that has never been seen or sampled. Others argue for a geological process, or something stranger still. The signal is real, but its meaning is unknown. More than 80% of the ocean remains unmapped, unexplored, and unseen. The record-breaking snailfish is not an answer, but a question, a reminder that every discovery on the seafloor opens further mysteries. The world beneath 10,000 meters may hold life forms shaped by pressures and chemistries we cannot yet imagine. The deep ocean keeps its boundaries hidden, and every expedition ends not with certainty, but with more questions echoing in the dark. 80% of the deep ocean remains uncharted. Every new descent reveals life more bizarre than the last. As technology advances, the unknown grows smaller, but it never disappears. Each unexplained sound or alien adaptation pushes us to confront how little we truly understand. The abyss isn't just a frontier for science. It is a mirror of our curiosity and our fear. What will we find when we finally pierce the last layer of darkness? Share your thoughts below.